the streaming if it's there. I clicked start.
I see your ticker there.
Yeah, we're
ticker's
live.
moving.
It's there. So it's 1 o'clock, everybody. So we're gonna get started now. I see your ticker there. Yeah, we're live. It's there. So it's 1 o'clock, everybody. So we're gonna get started now. Okay, we don't need my phone noise. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It's Gord Isman here, and it's been a long time since I've been live here on YouTube, and I'm so happy to be back, and we have a very special guest today, and I'm very excited to have a great chat today and get to hear your questions, and we're going to be talking to the amazing Dee Nimmin. And we all know Dee because of Nimin Live and Dee and his great work that he does in co-hosting Nimin Live with his brother Nick. And I'm so excited to go through this today and let you all ask some questions. And first, I want to tell you that Dee has an amazing channel. It's called Master Your Mobile. And it's a rapidly growing channel, and on that channel Dee teaches you everything you need to know about your mobile phone video production, your mobile live streaming, your smartphone audio, and how to use the best creative apps on both iOS and Android. And so, you know, he teaches you all how to be great mobile creators. So welcome, Dee.
Hey, Gord.
Hey, nice
to see
you.
Thanks for having me.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
I get to see you here in the this is like the Nimin Live studio, isn't it?
Yeah, this is where I sit every Saturday. Yeah.
It's just like another angle.
Yeah, just a little twist. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. This is great. I've been excited to come on here.
My pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to asking some cool questions. And just to let everyone to know, please feel free to enter your questions in chat for Dee and for me, and we're going to talk about some stuff later and as we go. I'm still not used to monitoring and speaking to the chat, and so Dee, as we're going, is going to help us along as well. How does it look, Dee? Is everyone confirming they can hear us well and everything clear?
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Okay,
chat's filling up.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Pam, for coming in to moderate today.
Yes, thank you, Pam. It's great to have you. And so, Dee, I got so inspired by looking at your videos and seeing your amazing progress in growth. And I just did a little projecting, and I looked on SocialBlade and saw that you're about to hit 10K subs, you know, sometime next month, around mid-month. And if I'm not mistaken, that's just like five and a half months it'll be after starting, right?
Yeah.
And what and then, you know, when I looked more closely at your videos, you know, aside from the fact that I've seen all of them, you have quite the volume of views. So it's really impressive. Like, you have a ton of videos with 10,000+ views, don't you? And
yeah, they're coming up fast. You know, I'm very strategic about all of my videos. I'm trying to create videos that people are searching for, and that makes all the difference in terms of getting those views coming in.
Yes.
And Brian G. Johnson just came to the chat.
Oh, awesome!
So,
Welcome, Brian. Thanks for joining us. So, what amazes me is because, you know, you're in the how-to space just like I am,
right?
And you know, and Nick being focused in YouTube, and people like Brian and that, it's very hard and very competitive, and you chose to go the niche of mobile. So what inspired you to go that direction in terms of your channel? Because I know you started out with an ASMR channel, right? So can you sort of give us the history how you got to doing Manage Your Mobile?
Yeah, the ASMR channel was more of like a training ground. Like, once I realized I wanted to do YouTube, I didn't want to start like a main channel and come in and mess it up. So I started with another channel with something that I was interested in. And I wanted to learn the process, how to upload, how to add keywords, how to add my thumbnails. So I did that on another channel just to kind of experiment with. And then once I was ready, then I started streaming, with my brother. And then once I kind of got comfortable with that, then I moved up and started making the videos. But I chose mobile because that's where everything is headed. That's where everything is. You look around, everybody's looking at their phone. And to me, it was kind of a no-brainer. Plus, there's a lot of great people already making, awesome channels. My brother and Brian G. Johnson and Sean Cannell and Roberto Blake and Daryl Eves and Tim Schmoyer, and the list goes on and on and on. Like, there's no way I even want to try to compete with those guys. So I'm just going to do my own thing here.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because when I try to do some videos on my channel based on my sort of niche diversification, the way I've done it, I believe in certain elements of YouTube education in what I'm doing. And then when I go use the tools like Morning Fame and TubeBuddy and what have you, I go like, oh my God, it's like the competition's crazy, in terms of like, yes. It's like saying, stay away, Gord. You know what I mean? So I get that. And so, there's no question. But I like the fact that like is there a lot of competition for you? Like I'm more familiar with mobile stuff to be, all about gear reviews and new phone comes out and stuff like that. And you've done a really great job at focusing on apps and technique and stuff like that. So maybe explain a little bit of the strategy there.
Well, the competition is fierce no matter which way you go. Okay. But in terms of the strategy, I'm just kind of looking for ways that I can help creators. Naturally, because I'm streaming every Saturday with my brother and he's in the YouTube help space, I've got a lot of subscribers who come in from there. So I want to serve that audience first, right? So that's the first thing I want to do. And then as they're being served, I'm also looking for ways that I can reach out, because I can't just stay in that space, because there's a lot more to mobile. Like, for example, I want to move into mobile journalism. That's a pretty big thing. I want to get more into apps and doing full deep dive reviews into apps. There's a lot of things that I want to do, but right now I'm kind of in the YouTube education space, and I'm creeping into the other areas slowly.
Yeah, I think because just by the fact that you guys do Nimin Live and all the channel gradings and all the work that goes into what you produce, by osmosis and experience, and you're really able to be super strong in that YouTube angle as well. So you have a whole number of areas to fire on to inspire the mobile user or the creator. I think that's
cool. That is the future. So I just wanted to get a head start on that.
Yeah. So what was your
future-proofs my content?
Yeah. So what was your YouTube why? Like, when did you get the bug? Did it have to do with seeing Nick's fun and joy and success, or where did it really get triggered for you?
Well, I always like sharing information and sharing knowledge with people. And so my brother came back from Vid Summit last year, and he was just talking about, what an amazing experience it was. And then I started paying more attention to what he was doing. And then when I started streaming with him and I saw how awesome the community was and how supportive everybody was, I thought, this is something that, it went from something I want to dabble in to something I want to take seriously. And and ever since then, I enjoy sharing the knowledge. And for me, like, as soon as I got my first comment where somebody said, I started a YouTube channel because I watched your video, or you gave me the confidence to start making my content. For me, that was a game changer and kind of changed how I was looking at things. And that became like a real inspirational. So it kind of changed my view on what I was doing and why I was doing it.
Yeah, because that was one.
So now,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was one now, of my. Yeah. All right, I'm quiet.
I'm taking over. Go ahead, Gord.
Okay. That was one of my later questions. I was going to say, like, what are some examples of things that people have said that like really make you appreciate your why and what you're doing? You know what I mean? And you gave a few examples, and that to me, when I get one of those, like, oh, you inspired me to take up a career in editing, or now I believe I can do graphics design work or something like that. I mean, to me, that's brings me the most pleasure from the experience of being a YouTuber.
Yeah. When I started, I thought I'm just going to share information. I thought this is what it's going to be. I'm going to share information. But as I started to get the feedback, I started realizing that in some cases, I'm giving people the confidence to actually take that first step. And a lot of people think that they have to have expensive cameras. They need DSLRs. They need all the best lighting. They need all this stuff to do this. And that's just not the case. So as I give people confidence to make that first step and let them know that it's okay to use your phone, and you can do all of this on your phone if you want. Yeah, it feels great to help people do that.
Yeah.
Would
it be fair to say that you were almost like baptized into YouTube via live streaming first before doing your own videos, right? So that's almost like the reverse path that most people take. So I'm thinking like Dee's already comfortable on live, so like the rest is going to be easy. No. How did that play for you?
That was trial by fire is what that was, Gord. Okay, so here's the thing. So I'm a musician, and though I live in Thailand now, I don't play anymore, but I used to play out in the US all the time. I play at concerts 3, 4, 5 nights a week. So I have a lot of live experience. So
that's great.
When I started doing the live streaming with my brother, I thought, okay, well, I can do this. I have experience being in front of people. But as soon as I sat down and the cameras came on, and I'm watching the chat room go, and people are saying, hey, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? It's similar to being live when you play music, but you don't get that. Okay, so when you're playing, you get the direct feedback from the audience because they'll cheer, they clap, or you can see them dance or something like that. In the chat room, you get that instant feedback as well, but they can personalize that feedback. They can say something directly to you.
Yeah.
And as simple as that sounds, I wasn't prepared for that. So as soon as I started seeing messages directly towards me, directed at me, I kind of, froze up a little bit, kind of got a little bit. But then I was in, trial by fire.
I can imagine that when you're starting to, you guys do it for like, I don't know, is the average length 5-6 hours long when you do them in live?
6 hours now.
Yeah.
Average,
so, I mean, just when something comes in that startles you, rubs you the wrong way, or surprises you in an outrageous way, I mean, I'd be like distracted, and you have to keep it all together, right?
Well, there's no keeping it all together on Nimin Live. We're pretty much held together by duct tape and Nick.
well, we know that you do your best to try and, challenge Nick holding it all together, and we have fun when you banter that way and do that. And he just seems to have such a graceful and calm way of handling it. And we all sit there and go, oh my God, Dee just took a little zing at Nick, and we're waiting for the reaction, and it's fun. I'm just saying, I really enjoy that part of the experience in Nimin Live.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it. The dynamic between the two of us, we have a really close relationship, and it's actually an honor to sit across from him and to be able to do this every single week. We get to spend like brother time, and we hang out. We have our little ritual. We'll meet up maybe 2 hours before the stream. We'll get something to eat together and have a coffee, and then we come in. But we don't talk about what we're going to discuss. So we kind of like keep that kind of to ourselves, because it helps play with the dynamic of the show. Because if we had a plan, then the dynamic isn't there. So we just come in and kind of wing it and surprise each other.
Kind of like what we discussed just before the show. I said, I'm a preparer, a perfectionist. I write out all my questions. And you said, hey, it would have been cool just to go straight on and do it. So, I think for me, I'm trying to get better. Like, even though I have my sheet, I'm still trying to do my best to go with the flow and have fun with it that way. And so the more I practice, the more you get to that comfort zone, just like you said with your experience in your live music and that whole thing. But being on the camera and having chat going simultaneously. And first, I'd like to say thank you to all the people that are showing here in chat. I can see we got lots of people here. Brian G, we got Top Shelf VA, which is Naomi, Launchpad Astronomy. Oh, Ellen's there. That's nice to see you. Nice to see you, Ellen. And Midnight Madness, Flip Classroom. Lots of great people. Michael H, my buddy. 1980s retro. And Doug's awesome.
Oh, Doug made it in. Doug is
so supportive. Yeah,
thank you, buddy.
Yeah. He's about at 4 a.m. now. No, 3 and change. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
Foul
Doug.
Fish. Yeah, that's great. Nice to see everybody there, and it's a pleasure to see you all there. So, So you obviously were quick into live, and it's not a big deal to you. So, given all your
No.
experience and what you have, like, Nick's motto is start right now, and all, and that perspective. What do you say to people that, because of so much live stream experience, and from your knowledge, what is like that number one thing that holds people back from jumping into doing live stream?
Live stream or creating in general, I think it's kind of the same thing. People build these hurdles up in their head. They look
Yeah.
for reasons why they can't do something. Be it they don't have the time, and legitimately some people don't have the time. Some people have 4 kids, 5 kids, or whatever. I get that, or maybe your upload speed isn't good enough. But a lot of the hurdles you can deal with, and a lot of it is just getting the confidence to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to take that first step, and it's like stepping off the edge of a building. You have to go. You have to trust your instincts. You'll figure it out along the way.
Do you
Stepping
think
off the edge of a building, that was a pretty bad analogy.
well, maybe there's a safety net down below. Okay.
These are not wings.
Okay. But do you think that it's more about the soft skills and the confidence versus the tech gear? Like where are people mostly stuck that you find? Like for me, it's more like getting in front of camera, stage fright. Am I going to be able to carry it? And all those kind of things. The stuff that the head loves to spin on. But for some, the gear can be an incredible intimidating factor.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all of the above. For some people, they're scared to death what other people are going to think of them. They're going to think, maybe I'm too old. They're going to think, maybe they don't like how I look. Maybe I'm going to sound stupid. Maybe no one's going to show up. What do I do if no one shows up in my live stream, right? There's that side. Then you have the tech side where people say, oh, I don't have a camera's not good enough. I don't have X, Y, Z. And there are legitimate reasons why people can't stream or make content for that matter. But you have to find a way. I mean, you can stream on your phone. You can just set it up. You can, as long as you've got the bandwidth, start streaming on your phone. And the more you do it, the sooner you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So if you're putting it off, the best thing you can do is just start. And it's going to be horrible starting out. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. Maybe no one will watch, but as time goes on, you'll build the confidence. You'll figure the tech stuff out. You just got to get going and make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like for me, I did my share of live streams back in when the YouTube Partner Program changes came out, and I had 1,000 hours to achieve in a month, which to me would have been a full quarter of my year's, or almost a third of my year's production that I had to do in 1 month. And I pulled it off, but I went live 12 times in the month from like doing once in the previous 2 or 3 months. So it was a shocker. I put myself out there, but I'm so grateful because it's got me to where I am today to be, more willing to do this. And because I feel I enjoy interviewing, even though it's not my core content, I feel that there's still great value to bring people by having interviews with creators that have experiences and we want to share. And that brings me into my next question, which is, what has the journey so far taught you about yourself that surprised you?
Before I answer that, I want to say something about live streaming.
Yeah.
So I started live streaming, and after I got comfortable with that, and then I said, okay, I'm going to actually start recording my content where I'm sitting in front of the camera speaking. I thought, okay, well, I'm live streaming now, so I can do this easily. That was actually the hardest thing, sitting there by myself in front of the camera, turning that on. And, there's nobody to talk to other than the camera. And it took me a really long time to kind of get my flow together. I was a disaster. Like my first handful of videos took forever to record. Not because I didn't have the production side together, but because, I understand how the gear works, but I've never been in front of the camera and had to speak to a camera before.
Yeah.
And that was really awkward and something that I really had to push through to get over that.
Do you,
that was hard.
Well, I remember, and I'm just sharing this, I have a video where, because I use the teleprompter, but the camera's in behind the split glass, and I encased the camera because of green screen in a Darth Vader hood. Just, like for people, that just look at this inanimate object and it's like, oh my God, like there's no one there. And it's like, I'm struggling to get my energy up and my voice and speak and articulate and be loose. And it's amazing how much power it takes from us. And I realize always,
Yes.
that I have to give so much extra energy because it sucks so much. And before I found and practiced to feel the cadence and all of that stuff, I had to keep doing it a number of times, because what's going on in your head and what you're delivering, I may think is like lightning fast, and it's not. And that's why I wanted to get into asking you, because I'm really amazed at how much you jam in the amount of time that you do it. And I go like, okay, is Dee reading a script? Is he doing it from an outline? How many takes is he taking to get one set piece before he goes into the next? Can you share us like your process for the experience of like, you pressed record and now that clip is good?
Well, it actually starts before I press record. So I ride a scooter here in Thailand, like a moped, you call them in the US or Canada.
Right.
And a few hours before I record, I'll kind of drive around, and we have like a city center. It's a couple of miles around. It's like a square, so you can kind of loop around it. So I'll drive around that once or twice, and I'll just talk out loud and try to get, figure out how I'm going to start it, what am I going to say exactly, and I'll think through key points that I want to say. And it's funny because sometimes people will come next to me and look at me, and I'm just, talking away on my bike. I probably look like a crazy person. But once I feel comfortable with that, then I come in. And if there's something technical, like if there's points that I want to make sure that I hit them, I'll make bullet points, and I'll just put them down on a piece of paper there beside me. But the rest of it, I find that I can speak much faster, and I can keep it looser if I just go. I drive around. I think of a few things to say.
So you actually get into like a Zen moment of practice on your scooter.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I would say that.
It's almost like a form of meditation for you. You relax in the scooter to get your flow, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know how safe that is. I don't know how much attention.
Yeah, I was going to say, folks, don't try that. Don't try that at home.
Yeah, don't right. But it helps, And I just think of key things that I might want to say, and then if there's anything technical that I need to say, then I'll write that down and then make bullet points out of it. But I like my first video, I tried to kind of write out. It's not a full script, but I tried to write out a lot, and it was a disaster. It just didn't work for me. I just need to turn it on and go.
That's amazing, because I'm amazed that somehow I go like, this is just coming across too natural, too clean, and so in depth. And I'm wondering, how many takes does Dee have to take to get one of his videos done for it to be this good? Because it's so naturally done. That's why I was wondering. I'm tempted to believe that it is kind of like you've mastered the scripting teleprompter thing, or you're just really good at the freewheeling.
My first handful of videos, they were disasters in terms. I actually told my brother, I said, you know what? I don't think I can do this. It's taken me way too long to record these videos. Yeah. But then once I started to like fall into my groove, and I started figuring out the cadence, and I figured out, so I record in clips. So I'll think about what I'm going to say, what I'm going to say. And then, I hit record with my remote. Yeah. I'll say it, and I hit stop. And if I'm not happy with what I say before I hit the stop button, I'll clap my hands, right? And then I'll pull all the footage into the editor, and I look for all the tracks that have the audio spike at the end, and I'll just click them and delete them right away. So what I'm left with are all of the tracks that actually worked. Yeah. So I might delete 5 or 6 pieces out of each video.
Well, that's interesting, because I also wonder how. So you have many where you're now showing the actual device and you're talking in parallel, right? So you do the talking, or you sort of mock it up on like while you're doing it, and then edit it together. Like, what is your process there when you have to screen record for sharing on the finished production? So like to sync it in your approach, Yeah, well, that's the hard part. So, okay, so my actual editing, because I automatically get rid of the bad pieces because I look for the audio spike. So the actual talking head part, that goes together really quickly. Then all I have to do is just go and tighten up the beginning, tighten up the end, put a few cuts in there, do some zooms, that sort of thing, right? The polish is what takes the most time. The polish is that's where I have to take my screen recording, which I'll usually do. I'll sit down, or sometimes I'll sit at Starbucks, and I know, okay, I want to show this feature, so I'll just screen record it, maybe do it a couple times, then I'll pull it in, and I'll try to mess with it to get it lined up just right. So you actually do the verbal first, recorded, and then you do the screen record to choreograph it, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
The only time I'll come back and do more verbal is if I did something in the screen recording that I forgot to say. So then I'll just walk right back over and just say what I need to say.
Yeah, yeah. The reason why I'm asking, because the majority of the content I create that's screencasted, right? I do two approaches, and it depends on what I want to achieve with one result or another. I will, in one approach, go more freewheeling, but I've got an outline and I know what I need to cover, right? But in the other approach, what's that?
Freewheeling Gord.
Yeah, and then in the other approach, it's a perfect choreographed, opera, and it takes forever to get done right. But boy, it executes, to perfection. So it's an interesting compromise or decision to make when I'm going to do one or the other. So, and that also, I guess, has to do with time and what roles in the sequence of things. And some things lend themselves better to being able to freewheel, right? Because you really need to be able to interact and talk about as you're visually seeing those things happen, right? So,
right.
Yeah. No, that was good, because I wanted to get a feel for your technique.
Okay, yeah, but that's my technique. And I had to let go of the idea that something has to be perfect. And that was really hard for me because in the past, when I had my media company, we had to get things perfect for our clients. So that's kind of like built into me. So to do it for myself, I just had to get to the point where I had to learn to let go. This is good enough. I need to execute. I have to get this online no matter what. So I have to let go of a lot of things. And I'm sure everybody does. Every time your video goes up, you wish that it was better. Yeah, and that was hard. It was a hard one for me to get over. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I used to get upset with myself when I would find a spelling mistake after reviewing the thing X number of times, and it goes out there,
right?
And I'll get a note from somebody. Do you know that this point in the video you spelt this word wrong? And I go, after all of that, like kind of reviewing, I still slipped. But the funny thing is, the majority of the people never ever say anything, and it doesn't really matter. They got the message. So I remember listening to all kinds of people, and I remember Amy Porterfield talking about perfection and how she used to be on with it, and it's not the same way, but still B+ or A is acceptable, and you know what I mean. So that margin, little margin for error, we shouldn't get so upset about.
I've had a few thumbnails go. I've launched, I've published a couple of videos, I think 2 times now. Right away, somebody in the comments says spelling error in your thumbnail, and it's just, oh no.
Oh yeah.
Gotta quickly
open up thumbnail. You can change quick too, right? So that's kind of cool. Okay, so given all that work that you do with Nimin Live and all that experience, how has that played into helping you accelerate your growth? So like, what are the lessons that you were able to sort of learn from being able to work with Nick that helped you, be so successful so fast with your productions and the quality of what you're doing? Like, I mean, you learned some great lessons. Is there a few that you can share with everybody that you would say that are great things that you
things that I've learned from Nick?
Yeah, so like from being between Nimin Live and being able to be around Nick and see his work and his goals and how he produces. So it's not like I think someone else starting totally green. You obviously developed some. I call it like when I first went to play tennis at 10 years old, I walked right out on the court and could hit and swing because I'd spent years watching people play. So I'm just saying, I'm asking if you could share anything like that. What helped?
Sure. I think the biggest takeaway that I got from Nick was providing value to your audience. If you're making content that doesn't provide value, there's no reason for them to watch you. And they're exchanging their time, which is the most valuable asset that we have. So if I'm asking somebody, give me 5 minutes of your life, right? It's not just, hey, just watch my video. Give me 5 minutes of your life. We don't know how short or long your life is going to be, but I'm asking you to give me 5 minutes of it. Assuming my video is 5 minutes long. So why should this person give me 5 minutes of their life unless I'm providing value for them, right? So I think that's
so it's having great respect for their time in everything that you're doing.
Yeah, but just number one, providing value and serving the community, serving the audience, first and foremost. You know, the more you give to them, the more they give back to you. And it logically, it doesn't make sense, and it sounds kind of corny unless you do it, and it works. You know, the more you help people, the more people come. It's
absolutely
it's strange, actually.
Well, right? It's engagement too, right? I mean, and you guys do all kinds of things and have some jokes, and it encourages people to joke, and then you do your trivia stuff too, and there's just like a really cool dynamic.
That's another element. That's a whole, like, the community that's built up around that. I mean, that's a whole other thing. I mean, community is incredibly important. Mm-hmm. You know, those are the people who come in and they leave comments. They come to your live streams. They support you. They buy your merchandise. You know, these are the people, your people, your family, your online family.
Yeah. And I see Flipped Classroom here says he really loves and appreciates how concise and clear your videos are. So, like, I mean, that's one of the things that stuck out to me is just like, wow, look at how much he jams in and how much I learned in, like, you know, this 5 or 6 minute thing. And I am really impressed with how you're at that level, you know, so quickly. Can you tell us a bit about? Well, sorry.
I'm going to talk about that just for a second.
Absolutely.
I do that because I personally cannot stand videos where they just drag it out, and I'm not a specs guy. Like, I don't like to be bored with specifics of something. Just tell me how it works. Show me the basics of how it works. Show me the minimum that I need to know to accomplish this task. I don't want to know about everything. Just show me the basics. And that's what I try to do in my videos, because those are the videos that I like to watch. So I figure if I can explain it in a manner that I would watch it, then hopefully that's going to work out. If I wouldn't watch my own videos, then I can't ask somebody else to watch them.
Okay. I get that. And that makes total sense.
Right.
Can you tell me, Dee, what is your process for research? So let's say you are going to go do a particular app and you got to know about it. Can you just share what other content do you consume, or how do you go about playing with the product? Like, I mean, some things obviously take more effort than others in a research. Research effort.
My list of video ideas is enormous, right? I mean, especially if you think about mobile phones and all the apps available, plus you have Android and you have iOS, it's enormous, my list of potential videos. So what I do is I scroll through them and I figure out, okay, what do I want to do for the next video, or maybe 2 videos down the line. I try to think a little bit ahead, because if there's an app that I need to learn, then I probably need to spend some time figuring it out before I can show somebody how to use it. So once I come up with the idea, then I'll hop on YouTube, and of course I go up to the search bar and I start looking at different variations of that, whatever it is, to try to see what it recommends in the drop down. And then of course I use like TubeBuddy, and I use Morning Fame. I use Keywords Everywhere. I use Google Trends. These are all the tools that I use to try to help me craft and fine tune what it is I'm going to make the video about. And sometimes I'll take it right out of the comments. If somebody will ask me, hey, can you show me how to do this? And I'll just think, man, that's a great idea. You know, that's a fantastic idea. I need to show you how to do this. And then I'll do that.
Oh yeah. I think that's where, the best source of content ideas can come from as well, because you're dealing with problems or struggles they have. And I think that's, very important to do, especially to serve the community, right?
Yeah. Right. The trick is, so you want to serve the community, but the trick is crafting the video and crafting the title in a way that, people can find it, people can discover it.
Yeah.
So you can't exactly say sometimes what you want to say in the title, because you might not rank for anything. So you have to craft it in a way that it can be discovered. And that's the tricky part.
Yeah. So you sort all of that up front, right, before you start, because the language that you use in your video could very well support, because we give captions and other things, and all that metadata comes together. So yeah, it's interesting, because sometimes I know there's things I want to do, and that's what I wanted to ask you. As an artist, I'll call it a creative, are there things you want to do and you search and you can't find it for? Do you rule it out? Like, you obviously have a ton of ideas that are there that, you can fill the search need and the trends or what have you. But sometimes you go, you know what? because I remember talking to Dusty Porter, and he said, you know, sometimes he knows a thing that's a problem and you're stuck, and he goes, I didn't find something on it. He sees it as an opportunity to put something out there.
Yes. There are a few things where I'm surprised more people aren't covering it. I've got upcoming videos where the audience is not being taken care of for certain topics. So I'm absolutely going to. The thing that really comes down to is, when do I want to do these videos? Because you know how it is. Like, sometimes you just don't feel like making a certain video.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you just don't feel like talking about a certain thing. Or sometimes, even though I know I need to, my plan was, I'm going to show somebody how to use this app, or I'm going to mention an app, I'm just not in the mood to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I have to think of something else.
Yeah. I actually go so far as to sometimes cancel a couple of ideas that I started because I just wasn't inspired to go through with it right now.
Exactly. I have to feel that energy to actually talk about it. If I'm going to teach somebody how to use it, I need to be fired up about it. You know what I mean? I want to be excited to tell somebody how to do this, or these are the things you need to look for. I don't remember which video that it was, but I could tell my energy was low when I was editing the video, and I considered deleting the video. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I just need to publish it. I need to execute and get it up there. And like, one of the first comments, somebody said, it was a regular a subscriber. They said, "You look tired in this video." And right away, I was like, oh, man. They were the only person who said anything, but I knew when I was
they were right.
That they were right. My energy was low, and I don't remember the topic off the top of my head, but I probably didn't want to do it, and my energy, kind of was low because of that. So now,
if Brian says coffee, is that the cure?
Sometimes there's not enough coffee or tea in the world to get you through a topic.
There we go. We upped it to espresso. Okay.
some of these, we don't want to demonetize you, so we're not going to talk about other things that we can do to keep you going. No, I'm joking. But there's some topics out there that are big topics. For example, like, I want to deep dive and show people how to deep dive into their analytics on their phone. Well, that's a big topic, right? That's a big topic.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of screen recording. There's a lot of, and that's one of the ones that I just keep kicking that one down the road, because when I think about how, what's involved, I'll get to it eventually.
I mean, when I look at a lot of the videos that are done, like Brian's videos on analytics as an example, and I go, wow, the deep research, testing, analysis of the statistics and analytics is a lot of work, and then to package it up in a way for consumption. So I can appreciate. That's why I say to tackle topics like that, it's like deep immersion.
You said it. Not only do you have to learn what it is if you don't already know it, but you have to repackage it and present it in a way that makes sense, and be able to edit it and put it together and keep your energy up enough to where they want to watch, because you don't want your watch time to tank, right?
Yeah.
So it's, you've got to fire on all cylinders, and I have to be in the mood, like all creators do, to do certain videos.
So since we're talking about the interesting challenge about being motivated on some topics at certain times, I laugh to myself, because there was a time when I was inspired to list that on my list, and then for some reason I may feel different about it in the moment. So I find that interesting. So what's your favorite part of the pre or post production process? Like, what is it you love, and what sort of, like, do you struggle through? Because as YouTubers, having technical skill and prowess and that, and on camera skills and everything, I mean, there's so much that people need to get proficient at to grow, and we're always having challenges to grow. So what are your thoughts there?
Okay, first and foremost, the absolute best thing that I like, and all of you who are YouTubers watching this know exactly what I'm talking about, is when your video is published, it's online, and the comments are coming in, and you successfully did a video, and the velocity is there, and it's going, and you're just yes, right? You just want to, high five anybody that will high five you. You want to get up and strut, kind of walk around a little bit. I dare say it's better than sex, but I don't know, or maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know, but it feels fantastic to accomplish that. Okay, I made this creation from whatever's in my head. I was able to harness those random thoughts, pull them together, put them on video, edit it, put a great thumbnail together, and people are responding. I can't think of it. I mean, in terms of being a creator, I can't think of anything that feels better.
Well, there's always that moment, isn't there, or that period of time from when you go publish to see it start to roll, right? And then when it starts to happen, it's yeah, this is going to be a good one. So that's kind of exciting, and then you get to watch it unfold as you say. Well, that's great. Yeah. So I always find immense relief after pressing the publish button too.
Yeah. Feels good. You know what it is? I think it's dopamine in our body. I think it's the dopamine in us that dopamine hit, and it just feels great. Yeah. So no matter how depressed, or no matter how frustrated I might be because of technical problems, or my computer's crashing, or the internet goes. I mean, I'm in Thailand. We have internet blackout, or we have power blackouts here. Oh, wow. Right? I've been in the middle of rendering, and the power's gone off for 12 hours.
Wow.
So no matter what happens, and you just feel like, man, I'm not going to do this anymore. You know how you get frustrated and you talk to yourself. But then as soon as that's published, and the positivity starts coming,
there, it's done.
All working. Yeah, it's all worth it. Like I said, I'll get up and just kind of strut around the studio. Put on some
or go for a safe scooter ride.
Yeah. It just feels great.
So Dee, you guys have so much gear there, and a lot of us look and see like, wow, look at how spacey that studio looks, and you got all these cameras and mics and stream decks and
doodads.
Yeah. What is something in your desire for gear that you don't have that you want to explore and try? What's one of those next level things?
Next level things. I know we want to upgrade all of our cameras here in the studio. We want to get a crispier image, and I know we are okay. So here's the main plans. We're setting up the studio, and it's actually really cramped. It looks like a big studio, but it's not. So we have to be really careful where we put everything.
Sure.
We're wanting to get things set up here in another corner of the studio where we can have multiple areas to record for Nimin Live. So we can record at the table, and then we have another camera set up and other microphones set up in another area, so we can also go over there and record just by a switch of a button.
Yeah.
So basically, we can take our live stream and be able to just move it around in various parts of the room, with no problem. And we're wanting to get into 360 streaming. We have a 360 camera. We thought it was going to work, but the quality is not there for streaming, so we're trying to get an upgrade on that. So basically, we're going to put the camera here in the middle so people can look around the studio. They can, look at whatever they want to look at. So that's how we're going to level up Nimin Live. In terms of like personal gear, I need to get my phone set up through Streamlabs, through an NDI plugin, to where I can just turn on the camera and just walk around the studio, and not having any cables.
I think
use that as a camera.
We'd enjoy a lot of you sharing behind the scenes stuff. I think a lot of people like that.
There's a lot here. We have. So when I moved over here, like I said, I had a media company before. We worked with video. I brought a ton. I mean, a lot of it's just like put away in sealed containers with the anti-humidity boxes in there and everything. But we have a ton of cameras, just a ton of gear.
Wow.
Different microphone stuff. But I'd like to be able to put a lot of that to use somehow.
That's very cool.
We'll see. I'm a gear hoarder. I need to get rid of stuff.
Well, that's why I kind of knew that I had to ask you questions, because of all the stuff that you guys have in your production. That gear hoarder. Yeah. Is that a new show?
Gear hoarder. Yeah. Official title. Gear hoarder.
Gear hoarder.
Gear hoarder. Yeah.
What do you think?
It comes in handy.
Yeah. What do you think is an optimal length for video? I mean, that's kind of an old question, and do you feel any constraint, or just like I do it and I try to be tight with everything and that's it?
No. When I was starting out, I asked my brother that. I said, "How long should I aim for?" He says, "Naturally, you want longer videos, but make them as long as they need to be." Mm-hmm. So I say what I have to say. I edit it. I put it together, and however long that is, that's the length of the video. Mm-hmm. I don't try to stretch it out. I don't try to go back and record other things to stretch it to 10 minutes. However long it needs to be, that's how long it is.
Okay, that's cool. What about publishing frequency? What is your mindset on that? I think sometimes I see you're doing a couple of videos a week, right? And are you planning to do your own, like Dee Nimmin live associated with answering Q&A stuff on mobile? Like what are some of your plans in that area for going forward?
I'm currently doing a Sunday and a Thursday upload. I'm wanting to add a Tuesday upload. So I want to get to 3 uploads a week.
Oh, nice.
That's my goal for actual video. And then I want to add my own live stream. So I'm already streaming on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where the live stream is going to fit in. I'm not going to do a marathon on my own channel.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind doing like an hour hangout, talk about mobile stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool. And so,
yeah,
I guess what needs to change for Dee to get to that increased level of publishing frequency? Is it about batching? Like what kind of stuff or are you already doing batching? Can you share?
No, I'm not batching yet.
Yeah.
Because I'm still trying to figure out a better workflow. I'm always trying to figure out a more efficient way to do something, and I don't feel like I'm doing it as efficiently as I could. So I'm not batching just yet. It's coming. Batching is coming. The 3rd video, I hope to start that fairly soon, actually. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, and the live streaming, okay, so here's the thing about the live streaming. Because I live stream every Saturday with my brother, and as you know, he's a fantastic streamer. He's a freight train. When he starts going, he does a fantastic live stream. It's hard to follow in those footsteps, right? It's hard. There's a lot of pressure to do my own live stream because he's such a good streamer, and together, we put on a show, and then I'm going to go off on my own. I feel like I really need to deliver something, right?
Yeah.
So
this gets to something that I think I've had a perspective on, and I've shared this with you, and I go, wow, I can't imagine being in Dee's shoes, starting out, following Nick's success, and like, what kind of pressures did that put on you? Did it force perfection mindset? Like, what were the symptoms of being a successful YouTuber's brother, following after?
Well, the first thing he said to me was that if you embarrass me, I'll get you kicked off the platform. So I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
Well,
no, he didn't.
Well, that would be a good insurance, knowing that he's going to look out for you too, right?
No. Okay, so naturally we're brothers, and he's worked with me in the past, right? We hired him to come on and do graphic design work in the past. So he knows my level of what I feel is acceptable in terms of production. He's seen how we handle stuff in the past with our clients and the level that we can operate at. So he never said, hey, you need to bring it or anything like that. He knew that I was going to do the best that I could, and that was good enough. But yeah, absolutely. There's pressure there in terms of people are looking at you, and they expect you. Well, actually, I'll tell you, the funniest thing is, because I stream with him, I get a lot of people in the comments who they think that I'm as knowledgeable as he is in terms of YouTube. So I have to tell him, hey, this is a question for Nick. You need to go over, subscribe to Nick, and go ask him this question.
That's interesting, because when you're on the live, you participate a lot in I just like the way that Nick and you work together, because we all have little bits to add here regardless of the scenario and perspective, and I think that sort of makes it fun as well, because you do like the sort of an interactive thing and asking people, like, what do they think how to grade that channel, right? And that's part of the fun, right? Is seeing what other people see that you may not see.
Sure. In terms of live streaming, the more you can involve your community, the people who are watching, the more they get into it. We didn't want to just live stream. We wanted to create an event. We wanted to create an event that people want to come to every week. Even if you're not watching the show, we get comments all the time, people saying, hey, I can't watch the show, but I listen to it in the background while I'm working. One person in the community said our stream gets him through his daily work.
Wow.
So he streams in the background. He can't watch it, but he listens while he's working, and it gets him through the day. So, we want to make it an event to where people want to come to. It can be fun. It can be entertaining. It can be helpful. You can learn something. You can laugh, cry, shed a tear, unsubscribe, whatever it is you want to do.
We feel that with Dee, at times, and anything can happen. You sort of keep that surprise element on occasion coming into the whole experience, which I think is really cool.
Anything can happen within reason. I mean, there's certain things where I definitely don't want to jeopardize his channel. I don't want to say anything or do anything that could risk his channel, being demonetized. We joke about that. But,
yeah.
You know.
Well, I've heard you joke.
Now, here's the thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are going to start streaming on Twitch. We're going to do a Nimin Live after hours on Twitch, and I've got a feeling anything's going to go on that one. It's going to be 18 years old and older on that one.
You guys are going to live in the studio.
I practically, this is kind of my man cave anyway. So even when I'm not at home, I'm in here because I'm always like, I really wish I could show you around. One of these days I'll be able to. There's so much going on in here. We have so many different stations. Like we have a whole nother set being built right over here. We have a set being built right here where the camera is going to be mounted up on top and it shoots down, so we can do like tutorials and videos to where you can film the hands and down shots. That thing. There's another set that's going to go on behind the corner over there. Yeah, there's a lot going on in here. So I'm constantly in here working on something.
So do you construct, set up all of that stuff? Is that?
Yeah, wow. Pretty much by myself. I even hauled this stuff up. How many flights of stairs was it? So these big boards that had to come up were like, it wouldn't fit in the elevator. So I had to like drag them up like 6 flights of stairs.
Oh, wow.
By myself. Yeah. That's right, little brother. By myself.
Well, that's why Nick didn't he say he had to start going more to the gym last year or something? I remember him saying he was starting to work out more.
He's busy. Look, he has his own thing going on, and I love to tinker. I love to build stuff. This studio is kind of like my baby, so to speak. And we're actually planning a version 2. We're not even finished here yet, and we're already talking about what we can do for getting a larger space and upgrading. So,
yeah, well, I would think it would be natural that with all the experience that you have with Nimin Live and the different studio components or pieces that you're building out, that you can start to do a whole set of consulting and courses and stuff on that about extending live streaming to the teaching side of what you've done successfully and put together, right? People want to learn.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so our original idea before Nimin Live happened. So we have another channel. We created another channel. It's called Creator Insights. And the whole idea of that was we were going to live stream there, and we were going to give people hands-on how to build a studio, how you do stuff with your camera, how to actually go out and shoot stuff. It wasn't YouTube specific. It was more creator specific.
Actually, I remember when Nick announced that a long time ago. It was like near the new year, right? Around the new year. Right.
Yeah. So we're actually, now that everything's kind of rolling, we're actually going to come back to that channel. We're going to do something different with it now. But we figured let's come in and let's start streaming on that channel, but we can test the new studio on your channel on Saturday. He said, yeah, we'll test it on my channel. I've already got a built-in audience. We'll see how it works. Instant success. People loved it, and that turned into Nimin Live. And then we had to shelve the other one, and we're getting ready to take that one off the shelf and run with it. Yeah.
So
that's why we're building.
And so where do you record your videos?
Well, it used to be right over there. Now we're kind of repurposing that area. So now all of my videos that you see that have this blue or whatever color I put behind it, I'm actually sitting in Nick's seat. So when you watch him streaming on Saturday, my videos, I'm sitting in his seat. I've just kind of moved the camera around.
Yeah.
And that's probably a temporary thing.
Sure. Well, there's so much, I guess, creatively you have in mind that you can experiment and try, and I guess that's part of things that are interesting. It's like, for me now, I finally put those lights up behind me to start to give a little dimension to what's in the background, so I'm trying to figure out to make things a little more interesting, so a step at a time. But I can see
back there.
Yeah.
You've got your LED lights going on. I see that. That's the thing about that's the thing about building a studio of any kind. You can do a lot with lights. If you just strategically put your lights in there and you pick the right colors and you just kind of like clean it up a little bit and put a couple of doodads around, you can really make your background and your surroundings look really cool.
Yeah,
it doesn't take much.
I totally agree. So Dee, tell us about, you've started to attend conferences and you got some more coming up, right?
Yes.
And so can you tell us how I know you went VidCon right? You were recently
VidCon
there,
was
and I
the
just
first.
saw you had a video up with Owen that you did the other day.
Yeah,
And
man.
so tell us
Owen.
about your whole experience about getting that work. And the reason I ask is because I went to my first conference in this domain, being a YouTuber, was Vid Summit last year, where I got to meet Brian, Nick, and all kinds of great people, and
I heard about that.
it was awesome. I just loved it, and so you got to have your first experience. So how did that affect you, and how important do you think it is for you to keep going, and what are your intentions on those kind of things?
I wasn't sure what to expect when I was flying over there. I had a good 24 hours to think about it in travel time. And when I got there, so here's the thing. I was looking forward to some of the seminars, but once I was there, I found that there were only a couple seminars that I actually got value out of.
Mm-hmm.
And this is at VidCon, by the way.
Right.
The value came to me from what it happened outside of the seminar, the FaceTime with the other creators, going to dinner with the other creators in the hallway of the center, having conversations, picking their brains, hearing conversations going on about how the creators do things, how they deal with brands, how much people charge things. Man, I learned so much in those couple of days, and most of it was learned in the hallways or over dinner or even at the TubeBuddy house. We always had people over at the TubeBuddy house, and then there were so many great conversations that took place there that it changed the way I was looking at YouTube. I mean, so my mind just keeps changing. I'm evolving creatively in terms of how I'm looking at this platform. And when I came back from VidCon, I had a completely different idea of what I need to be doing. For example, I'm going to be moving into making my own courses.
Oh,
I want
awesome.
to eventually move into doing my own training seminars for people who are mobile creators. So there's a lot of things that I want to do that I talk to that other people are already doing these, and I'm thinking, man, I'm really missing out on this stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I feel the same way, that I've been sitting here on the sidelines. I have several ideas for courses, and I'm starting to do some of that. But it's about, how do you juggle it all, right, Dee, with what you've described on your plate, and doing a lot more live production time coming, and then this is where we evolve, right? And brings me to another question. I mean, obviously, Nick's probably extremely busy to the point that he's not doing. He's outsourced. He's had to outsource things now, I'm sure. And so, how do you see that unfolding, or what have you learned about where that's going to come into play for you in time?
I will eventually get my own video editor. But other than that, I can pretty much handle everything else. But editing the videos is something that I would rather just create. I record the videos, and then I'd love to be able to hand that footage off to somebody else. Here's the footage. Here's the B-roll. Here are notes. Here's screenshots from what I want you to use. Put it together. Here's my style. You see what I'm doing. Edit the video. If I can get a video editor, I could probably either move to even more uploads per week, which would catapult my channel up, out there quite a bit. Or maybe spin off onto a second channel as well.
So
but I don't have a video editor.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So how important do you think the multiple uploads a week is to escalating your growth? Because I'm still only doing one a week. When I do a live, it's two. So, and it's just because I'm doing client work and other activities I'm trying to balance. But I know from a growth standpoint, obviously, you switched to you didn't start out of the gate, did you, with 2 a week? Did you?
Yeah, it was my first. I may have done like the first couple of weeks with one. I don't remember, to be honest with you, Gord. But yeah, as long as I can remember, though, I've been doing 2 a week. Except for when I went to VidCon, I couldn't during that one. But I think it's important. I mean, you see when you upload a video, you see the growth, you see the spike in subscribers that come in.
Yeah.
So it's just natural. The more videos that you put out there, the more chance you have of growth. The more watch time you're going to get, the more subscribers you're going to get. Right. So it just makes sense. So I mean, ideally, I think it would be fantastic if I could upload like every other day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the pressure of doing daily uploads, but if I could upload every other day and have an editor take care of that,
Wow.
man, that would be fantastic. And I think the growth from doing that would be explosive.
So you have that big a content list that you could comfortably for a long time keep that going.
It's endless. I literally have hundreds of video ideas just waiting to be made. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because you have to think, I have Android, I have iPhone, I have the YouTube space. It's not just about helping people on YouTube or mobile journalists, but some people just want to know the best app so they can take good videos of their grandkids. Right? Yeah. I get comments like that all the time too. They just want to know, how can I take a better video of my daughter's dance recital? I mean,
that's actually very practical questions to answer.
Sure, right?
Yeah.
There's people who film the tours of the houses. Real estate agents who they're using their phone and they want to film the houses so they can put it on their YouTube channel so they can give them walkthroughs. I mean, there are so many different ways that people are using their phone to create content. It's just the more I dig, the more little niches that I find. So it's truly endless.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I like to hear that because I at times struggle with what I want to do next and how to balance the diversity across things, and how to serve with what frequency the different areas that you can bounce into, right? So, because you feel that if you put something out that say serves the YouTubers more specifically versus the person who's all about the gear or the accessories, or you know what I mean. Like sometimes I'm sure
that's the balance that you have to walk. You want to serve the community, but it's a balancing act. Especially for me, mobile. I don't want to not serve any one part of the community. So I look for subjects that everyone can take out of. For example, if I'm talking about the latest video editing apps, well, that serves everybody, right? That's you're on YouTube. If you're trying to if you want to edit together your kid's dance recital and put it up on Facebook, it takes care of you there. If you're a mobile journalist, it takes care of you there.
Yeah.
So well, I ways that I can help everybody.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say, just interrupt for a second, to thank all these great people that have showed up in chat and participated. And I apologize, I had some problems getting my chat to show, so I just tested it and it doesn't show. But I see everyone here, and I see lots of people. What's in Michael's bag? Rosh Seilers, nice to see you. Jacoby Harity. And 1980s retros, Flip Classroom, lot of people here. Launchpad Astronomy, it's great that you all joined in. Card Perfect Magician.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for coming and hanging out.
Dan, and a lot of great people. Technology tutorials, Endeavoring Family. That's great. I mean, and Jen Adventure. Haven't seen Jen in a while. Nice to see her here. Michael Daniels, he's big supporter.
Astronomy.
He helps me a lot too.
Yeah, hey, I just want to give a personal shout out to Doug Houston YT. It is like 4 a.m. in Australia where he is. Yeah. We asked him to come in, but it was late, and I said, don't worry, but he came in anyway. Doug, you are an absolute rock star, and I appreciate every for this community. You are awesome, man. Absolutely awesome.
And Doug also has your I've won. Okay, IGTV. I remember when it launched and everybody was all excited and fired up, and I saw some incredible productions by Nick in the early going, and I was like, oh, I'm super excited. But then one day I started to go in and use it and using search, and I go, I'm pretty much only able to search by the person's name, and I'm going like, this isn't going to work for me. I mean, the channel name or, something like that. And what the content that was pushed to me was like, it's not even stuff I'm really interested in. So what are your thoughts and experiences, and do you have intention to dive in?
I think they had an amazing opportunity. They had the momentum. They had the ear of every creator in the world. They had an enormous, I'm not even going to call it a booth. It was a borderline miniature city that they built inside of VidCon when they announced it. They came out guns a-blazing on this, and I've never seen somebody drop the ball so hard. I was hoping that, okay, so you have over 1 billion users on Instagram, so the potential for this is enormous.
It's staggering.
Just enormous. right? You've got Instagram. I mean, obviously Facebook is a parent company. The potential enormous. And then, I think I put up 2 videos. My idea was I'm going to upload a video a week for about 3 months and see what happens. But after my second video, I realized that I don't even want to use the app. I don't want to use the app because I can't find content. Like if I'm not already following you on Instagram, I can't find stuff. And it wants to suggest things to me that I've never looked at before. Like it's suggesting stuff to me that I don't even know why it's showing me these videos.
It's almost like it's a separate agenda.
Right. Like at what point in my browser history in any app or have I ever looked at like NBA fail videos? Right.
Yeah.
Never.
But you know what? YouTube did something to counteract, which I think is amazing. And now your vertical videos that you upload, if you don't put them into a 16:9 format, you just upload them as they are and allow the default black or white bars to show. When they come into mobile, they show vertical proper. So, I mean, that to me, now with search and the ability to, when I'm on mobile, enjoy them for the way they're meant to enjoy, I think that helps counteract that risk if IGTV were to explode, kind of thing.
All IGTV had to do was put in a search feature that would allow you to search for other people's content, just like you can in YouTube. If they would have done that, that would have been a game changer. Because then I can look for, hey, how can I do this? And I can find it on IGTV because some people might like that platform better. It's really convenient. It loaded fast. I'm not a fan of vertical videos, but I got used to it.
Yeah.
You get used to the platform, but there's no searchability there. And I think they'd shot themselves in the foot on that. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not working for some people. I do see some people that are recording over there. They're getting tons of views. Roberto Blake is doing well over there. It is working for some people. But for me, I stopped using the app. And that was a telltale sign for me that if I'm not interested, then I probably shouldn't be uploading there. And the time that it takes me to make a video on IGTV, I can make a video for YouTube where it is searchable. I get thousands of views instead of 500 views. So now that doesn't mean that IGTV is not going to change this tomorrow or 6 months from now or a year from now. They could change it. They might rise from the ashes and come out and be victorious. I don't know, but right now I'm very disappointed.
So what do you think of the concept of repurposing vertical video to go in both places now? Or do you think that that's, because the adage of serve the people where they are. So, but does that mean I have to necessarily change the content matter because I'm going to post on an IGTV? Because if the IGTV output is the same that could be served on YouTube and consumed vertically, I can... if fans that I have that just prefer to consume Instagram and not so much YouTube, some would argue that, oh, well, there's another platform. But to me, the search is an issue in itself. But do you think that is an option, or it still the search kills it all?
So when I came across videos on IGTV that were obviously recorded for YouTube, even people that I followed didn't watch them. I was looking for IGTV specific videos. I was looking for vertical video. I was looking for something unique. I was going to keep it a lot looser than what I normally do, just like my brother was. I wanted to do something a little bit different. So if you want my mobile content, you can come check me out on YouTube. If you want a little bit of mobile content, more personality, more behind the scenes stuff, come over to IGTV. I wanted to give the two platforms different types of content. But I just didn't want to use the app.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the app. I'm considering deleting it. I look at it every day and I'm thinking I might just delete this app.
Yeah. And I somehow like the kind of the intimacy of things like in Instagram stories, because by intention we know we're doing something more short form. Do you know what I mean? That it suits it when you do it. You know what I mean? Not like it's a platform trying to be something that it's not really got a personality.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? The stories that's good enough.
Yeah,
I'm fine watching stories. I don't want to click into IGTV anymore.
Yeah, I enjoy consuming stories a lot as a person. you know, if Dee puts a story up, I'll go check it out, right? Because I like Dee's content just because, and I like the fact that I know it's going to be short, snappy bits, right? And I think that's a lot of fun. And I wanted to say a shout out to, just for 1 sec, Dee. There was a few more people that came in, and I want a special shout out to Go Pappy Go Bite Size Tips. He's been a long-term follower, and I greatly appreciate him showing here. It's nice to see some of the people here that haven't been technology tutorials. Nice. Okay, sorry, Dee, I interrupted you there.
Yeah, what was I thinking? I was thinking, so originally IGTV said that they were planning on monetizing the platform. Yeah. So I'm really curious if they're going to do that. Are they still going to monetize the platform with so many people not creating there now? Yeah. Or maybe when they come along with monetization, they're going to change it. Who knows? I mean, it's possible that they're looking at people's user patterns. How are people using IGTV? What are we missing? And they might come out with an update that's going to knock everyone's pants off.
Well, I am surprised that why out of the gate they wouldn't have established the search mechanism to show the power to compete. And that was just such a miss in my estimation.
I find it unbelievable that they have all the minds that they have there. They've got Facebook. They've got all the people behind Instagram, all the developers that were involved in the project, the people that tested it out, the beta tested it. Not one person said, hey, this thing should be searchable. Not one person came up that we should be able to search for content.
Yeah, well, I remember how excited you all were at VidCon when they did that announcement. And then it's like, not many talked much about the search until it started to unfold the experience they were having, and then they started to share. And then I went on and I go, oh, this is cool. I'm watching some of the neat stuff from Roberto and Nick, and I think did Owen do some. And anyways, I was enjoying it, but then I go like, I want to do something with the search and I can't. So it's like, you know,
here's where I think it would work. Okay, if I'm going to produce a video, means I want to shoot it and I'm going to edit the video and put it together and make it look cool and put whatever, some sort of, sound effects or a sound bed in there. That takes time. And if I'm going to put in that time, I would rather put it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But like what Roberto Blake is doing, he's just turning on his, he's just turning on the camera and he's just talking. He's in the back of a taxi. He's just talking. Goes on, he talks. There's no editing. There's no anything. It's raw. It's what you get. And I think if you're doing that and you don't have to put a lot of time into editing their content, I think that might be a win.
Yeah, I think Roberto is a real example setter, leader in using the different platforms for a unique purpose. Just like, he gives a very deep introspective stuff on Instagram. And then, like he does his more intimate things in vertical format in stories and stuff like that. And I just think it's great to see him push the envelope to show us a lot. Yeah. And, I look and I see what he's doing and I go, I bought a gimbal recently and I haven't got it set up, and I want to try some experiences and start to share some perspective on things, but I haven't got around to doing it. Have you explored using other technologies? Because you like the tech, Dee.
Yeah, we have a couple of gimbals sitting around here. We have the mobile gimbals. We have some DSLR gimbals. I actually have one that I need to do a review on that I've been playing with. Yeah, we have all kinds of stuff sitting around here. It's just...
Again, that's an example of time investment, right? To get ready to do it right and prep it and research it to the level that you want to serve your clients. So that's an example that's kind of held me back on some of the things. I joke about it. I have some Amazon boxes and packages that just, I ordered it, had the inspiration, and it's like, I haven't got around to it.
Right. So in addition to that, I also have to think, and I'm very honest in my videos. I tell people, if I'm presenting something, I'll say, do you need this? And if they don't, I'll tell them, you don't need this. It might improve what you're doing, but no, you don't need it. You don't have to spend your money on this. You can get by with what you have just fine. I like to make that very clear that they don't have to buy stuff in order to be a creator, because it helps, but you don't have to. So in terms of like gimbals and other gear, that stuff is fantastic. It all serves a purpose.
Yeah.
It can definitely make your video look smoother. It can make it look very cinematic. But if you're just starting out, no, you don't need it. So as I'm putting this, I don't want to call it review together, because I don't like to dive too deep into products. It's more like an overview.
Yeah,
So as I put
and
this
your
overview
experience with it, right? Your first take on it or
right,
something like that.
exactly. So this gimbal that I'm going to make a video on, I'm going to tell them the basics. I'm going to tell them what I think about it. But of course, you don't need it. You don't,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't need.
The
Yes, it
other
can make
thing
your
is, I
life
think
easier.
it's so easy to think, and it's the shiny object syndrome, that the tech is going to solve
Yes.
you taking the
Yes.
steps to actually have real, tangible experiences of recording, putting yourself in front of the camera, trying experiments. And the reality is the tech isn't going to solve that.
Tech is not going to get you over your camera shyness.
No.
Tech is not going to make you a better storyteller. Tech is not going to help you get your message across or make it more clear to people who are watching. Tech will not bring in subscribers or view count. It will not increase your watch time. Tech is tech. It's absolutely helpful. I love some stuff that I have, but okay. So Gord, I mean, I've mentioned this before on the live stream. So my top video in terms of watch time,
Right.
it was filmed on iPhone 7
Right.
out in the sprinkling rain. I literally had no plan. The idea just hit me. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm in a cool place. I've got an idea. I'm just going to make this happen really quick. I
Right.
always keep a lavalier microphone in my bag.
Nice.
I've either got the Boya M1 or I've got the Rode SmartLav Plus. One of those is always in my bag. So if I need to do something, plug it into my phone and I've got better audio. So pulled it out, no planning. I made like a 5-minute video about how to do like transitions with your phone.
I love that.
No
video.
gimbal, no video, no extra gear, just me on my phone. That's my best watched video in terms of watch time. And the thumbnail, I took a screenshot of me in the video turning. I opened it up in Snapseed, which is free. I added contrast and saturation. I added sharpening. I didn't put any text on it, and it's one of my best performing thumbnails. So the least amount of effort, everything was free that I did, and it's one of the best performers that I have. So you don't need all that.
Yeah,
it helps,
and it's amazing. But I call them. It's like for me, for a long time, it was all about animation. And I did tons of videos when I started out on motion graphics and educating people on animation and how to do free stuff and to do animated subscribe buttons, lower thirds, and all these kind of things. And I love that stuff. But in reality, from an editing standpoint, the extra effort that you need to put in is huge, unless it's just reusable library assets. But I try to add a lot of extra engagement from the standpoint of using animation or kinetic text stuff in the first minute to two of my videos at least, because then I dive into the screencast often. So, but the production effort to do that and add things in while you're going and transitions and everything, it's what becomes the lion's share of the work, right? Because just doing the cuts and sewing together an overall production is not that time consuming.
Now, I do want to say real quick, I want to go back and talk about how I said the gear is not that important. If you are trying to make cinematic footage, if you're trying to be a filmmaker, yes, you are going to need that stuff. You are going to have a smoother camera. You're going to have to have you're going to want a gimbal or something to put your camera on. You absolutely will need stuff. But in terms of just the average creator, the YouTuber starting out, you definitely don't need that to get started.
I mean, with a lot of the stuff I educate on, and the fact that you're educating on people using mobile, it's not necessarily the focus gear for filmmakers. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, I mean, there are people that want to take it to that level of class and stretch the envelope, and they do. And I think, that's cool. But it's got to be about what inspires them to really pursue and be passionate about creating, because I think that's one of the toughest things in the long run as a YouTuber. So like you've been hardcore for like 5 months, no, actually a little longer because of your participation in Nimin Live and what you do with Nick and being around it. But I'm a couple of years into this, and I feel like cycles of up and down and sort of questioning, but when I get what centers me back is when I do stuff that creatively satisfies me artistically, as selfish as that sounds, but sometimes you may need to do that to get yourself to dig out of a bit of a hole. You know what I mean? Do you ever
charge your creative batteries sometimes? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So what do? You do meditating, I understand, right?
No, it's not meditating. Nick meditates. I ride my bike.
You ride your bike.
No, okay. So if I need to recharge my batteries,
Yeah.
I'm burned out, or okay. So despite having, okay, I have a huge list of ideas, but sometimes I just don't want to do any of them, like we talked about before. Sometimes I just want to do something new,
Mhm.
and if I need to kind of recharge, I'll just go out on a bike ride, or I'll do something completely different. Like I love building like costumes, like cosplay type costumes. And I'll come in here into the studio and I've got a whole area over here where I just like tinker with like, sci-fi type or Star Wars type costumes where I'm making little things that you can wear and stuff like that for cosplay. And I'll just take my mind off of it and I'll just do something else and
Yeah.
then see.
And for me, it
my
used to
mind.
be, I love creating video memes, and that's something I want to do as a course. So I used to create, but then it got to be like, now I'm creating video memes that take an hour and a half with all kinds of animation effects and transitions and things. And I'm going, they're like 30-second long, sophisticated, cool things. But that just gave me so much joy creatively. So I had to do that. And every once in a while, I'll just get the bee in my bonnet that says, I got an idea and I want to try and create it. And I
creators,
go for it.
Yeah. Creators, that's the thing about being a creator. Not just a YouTuber. If you're an artist, you're a painter, if you're a musician, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. You get that scratch, you get the itch and you've got to scratch it. I mean, that's part of what makes you a creator. If you don't scratch that creative itch when it comes, then you're missing out, because that's where the fun stuff happens. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
When your brain's going, when it starts flowing, if you don't capture that, lightning in a bottle, so to speak.
And that's kind of it's a recharging the battery thing for you too, just because you're letting those juices flow and you get the chemical benefits of the fun of creating.
Yeah, and I find the more I do it, the more I'm making my videos, the more I'm thinking about what to do next and how I can present this, the more it gets those juices flowing. Versus if I'm not doing it at all, then your brain just kind of shuts off a little bit. But then once you kind of get going, one idea leads to another idea, leads to another idea, leads to hitting somebody up saying, hey, what about this collaboration when I see you in October? All right.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. It's all part of the process.
Are you going to be exploring all kinds of those interesting lens concepts for mobile? Like what has your experience been? Because I mean, there are so many things out there now trying to make mobile into DSLR rich cameras, and they're working with a sensor that's like this small. Like what's your experience, and are you intending to pursue that as part of educating people in mobile?
I have a box of Ollie clip lenses sitting right over here that I haven't opened yet. I tried to get my hands on Moment lenses last time I was in the US, but I couldn't. They were back ordered. So maybe when I go this time, again, it's one of those things. If you're into filmmaking and you want to make films with your phone, I think these lenses absolutely have a place. Or maybe you're in a tight room or something like that. You might need to use the wide angle. Yeah, maybe. But Gord, it's like anything else. In anything out there, we get bombarded with stuff with these companies saying that you need this. And sometimes you do, but a lot of times you don't. And, I saw people walking around VidCon with these enormous cages and these, like the iographers made out of metal, right? It's not brand, but these huge things with the phone on it and like 2 aperture lights on these bendable little
and they're mic mounted
phone on there and all this stuff. And I'm just like, why didn't you just buy a DSLR? For like you start calculating, well, that might cost $300. That phone was at least $1,000. Those lights were like $200 each. That beast grip, that was, $199. Why didn't you just buy a DSLR? I don't know. I don't understand what's going on there, but whatever. Hey, look, if that works for you and that's how you want to roll with that. Not judging, but if all you have is just this, this is good enough. You can definitely get started with this and upgrade as you go if you see that you need to upgrade. But I guarantee you, nobody's ever going to watch your video and say, "Oh, that was made on a phone. Not interested." If you can.
Well, the phones now have incredible resolution capabilities, 4K and all of that stuff. The only thing they really lack is, I mean, the apps are incredible. Things like FileMac Pro and whatever. You can tune a lot of the the parameters of nice fancy cameras, and the editing capabilities have increased with things like
Right.
Power Director, and is it KineMaster or KineMaster?
KineMaster, right?
KineMaster.
Kine-
So
yeah.
you know, and if you're a filmmaker that needs that exact bokeh effect that requires your $1,000 to $2,000 lens to get that
Exactly.
performance, that's okay.
Exactly.
But for a lot of people, like you said, just holding that device, like I'm eligible now. I have a Samsung S7 Edge, and
Okay.
I'm eligible for my upgrade now I'm going to check out the S9. So I'm kind of stoked
I
about
have
that. You have the S9?
I have an S. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
cool.
a fantastic.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So
It's not my daily phone. It's so my thing about phones. So this is a 7, right?
yeah,
A filthy one. Tell here.
yeah.
And I need a phone that I can do everything with one-handed. Now the S9 has a one-handed feature, and your 7 might have that too, where you can make it one-handed mode, where it shrinks everything down on the side. You have that on your S7? I'm not sure.
I haven't played with one-handed mode.
Okay.
I'm not adept.
So, yeah, I never played with the 7, but the 9 has an option to where you can do one-handed mode, and it basically shrinks everything down and gets it really small on the screen. But the phone is still big. I'm not a fan of big phones at all. I like everything small and compact.
Yeah,
that'll fit in my.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I still have the 7. Yeah.
Dan Norton, I like this comment. He says that the cameras now blow away the cameras that he used back in film school in 06. So it's amazing, right? Like when you see how far things have actually come, and people just keep raising the bar. But this is where I think most of the enhancements and things that are done, whether you're using something back like an iPhone 5 or 6 compared to whatever now, a lot of times you could film something in a decent enough quality on an older phone, and no one will be sitting there judging the technical quality of it. If you do a good job.
Mobile, think about this. So I don't know what the exact statistic is right now, but YouTube mobile users is pushing 60%. I think it's over 50%. So more than half of the people viewing your content, they're viewing it on a small screen anyway. And when you have that footage, if it was shot even on an older iPhone or an older Samsung, and it's compressed down on a phone, it looks great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, and having 4K resolution on a footprint that small just doesn't matter. But then if it's the person at home who's bringing out their big screen TV and they're playing the video, then it's different. But if, like you're saying, you discover that your consumption is disproportionately mobile, and that's where consumers are mostly, I find it interesting. There was a period of time where I had super high percentage desktop viewers because I'm doing screencast tutorials. Right, with editing and that, so a lot of people are using their desktop to edit, right? But now I've done more with my videos to do more zooming in and sort of sketch motion highlighting so that people can consume it. But a lot of people sort of play my video in parallel and do their own creations, so it's kind of a different experience. But as my content starts to diversify, it'll be interesting to see how that rebalances. I'm curious to see. There's so much to learn in the analytics, right? I mean,
it never. Yeah, it's endless.
It never ends. So Dee, what's next for Dee? Are you traveling soon, or Nick's talking at the upcoming conference at Jeremy's conference? So where are you going?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I should be at the conferences, and next for me, in terms of what I'm going to do for the channel, and for me as a creator, in terms of what I'm going to make, I really want to get my first course together.
That's awesome.
I want to get a course together where I take people from the very beginning of what you need, and it gets you up to speed. First course, basically beginner's course, start here. You just got your first smartphone. Congratulations. And I'm going to bring you up to speed so you can actually, make content with it that actually looks good. So I'm really excited to get that going. Yeah. And I want to get into advanced courses as well. Yeah. But I find, based on comments and the people that are coming in currently to watch my videos, there's definitely, a lot of people who are just starting out and they need help.
This raises a great question because I've experienced that and I'm just drawing a parallel for a second. A lot of my subscribers are have subscription level in the 0 to 100 range.
Right.
And
Exactly.
Camtasia is not as sophisticated an editor as things like Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro. So consequently, it attracts a lot of those things. But I have an affinity for doing more complex things in Camtasia. So one of the things I do want to do in a course is exactly like what you're describing, get them through the basics to get to a level, because I also serve well on YouTube at the more advanced. So a lot of the things you're showing are like you're already into transitions and doing different things and telling them how to edit it together. That's, for many people who, you know what I mean? It's too far along the line.
Well, exactly. And those are the things that, remind me of who my core audience is, because I'll make a video where I'll talk about a really simple transition, and then you'll get comments back like, I don't even know how to edit at all. I don't know. Should I hold my phone or should I put it on a tripod? How do I focus my phone? And those questions start coming in, and I'm like, okay, I need to go backwards here. So my idea is to put the course together: beginner course, intermediate course, advanced course. So then you can kind of get in where
cover
you
the
fit
gamut,
in, so to speak.
Do you ever feel that if you did that direction based on the level of skill that some of your videos are at, do you feel you're doing a disservice to the more advanced people if you're going to be starting to share more beginner content? This is a question I struggle with because of that, I've done more, I'll call it sophisticated things typically in my tutorials, because I've always wanted to like fill a gap that may not have been addressed well, or to show people new cool stuff. So I think naturally wanting to do the more sophisticated stuff, because it also kind of pleases me as an artist, but at the same time I feel maybe I'm not serving as well the people like you describe that are, I can tell because of their subscription range, there's a lot of people that are beginners that need to be served too.
Before I answer that, I just want to come into the chat here and say, Pam says that hers are mostly desktop and TV users. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. But I know YouTube as a whole is pushing towards more mobile users now, which is interesting. Okay, so to answer your question, I know that my core audience and the people who find me, most of them are beginners to intermediate.
Right.
If you're at advanced level, I'm not appealing to you yet. I'm not doing. I haven't done anything yet that would appeal to advanced users. I want to do it. Okay, okay. As a creator, you obviously want to show what you can do.
Right.
Right. You want to you have your own creative itch. I want to show people, look at all this cool stuff you can do. Let me show you some really amazing stuff you can do with your phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the truth of that is, the truth of that is, like, majority of the people watching, they're not there yet. So in terms of like, yeah, that might look cool, but they're not going to get any value for that whatsoever. And because I don't appeal to advanced people yet, I'm going to keep it towards beginner and intermediate. I will make an advanced course if somebody wants to come along and be part of that. But in terms of my YouTube strategy, look, the better you get, the more you know, the less you need this stuff. Right?
So this sort of is a nice segue, because you've talked about course stuff. So what's your perspective on monetization for your channel? Like,
I just got monetized today, Gord. I woke up to my
congratulations
just today. Finally, I was waiting almost 2 months for this.
Wow. Actually, and you're going to be crossing 10K. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's a story in itself.
Yeah. I mean, I've read everywhere that they were backlogged, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, you'll get to me. And I woke up today to a message, congratulations, your channel is now monetized.
Nice.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. But prior to this, I was just doing affiliate, links.
Yeah.
So you'll be seeing some ads in my own channel. Of course, I'll have super chats on there and all that good stuff.
Well, that's very cool.
Looking forward to it.
And
exciting.
That is very exciting. So, the course kind of stuff is going to be coming, I want to focus on that part. Yeah, the course stuff is really something I'm interested in.
And not just there, like I said, the beginner, the intermediate, the advanced course. I want to do another course specifically for mobile journalists, another course, for other things. There's so many things you can do with your phone. I can do a whole course just on teaching people how to do cooking videos or how to, you know what I mean? If
Yeah,
you're selling products
now
on
I'm appreciating a lot more. The more you talk about the diversity and scope of what you can cover is just staggering.
Right. So,
yeah.
right. If you're selling products on Amazon or on Etsy, well, let me show you the best ways to take photos of your products. Let me show you how to process those photos. Let me show you the right ways to white balance it so it all looks good. You can crop it and set up. There's so many things that you can do, Gord. It's truly unbelievable once you start looking for
ideas,
voids.
Yeah,
where
voids
people are
to
not
fill. Yeah, opportunity.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. So, so you'd be going away in like a week? Isn't that what's Jeremy's conference? What it's Video Marketing World, right? Is last couple of days of August, right?
Yeah, and right, and then Vid Summit after that. Yeah,
yeah. It looks like it's such a reunion of the Vid Summit from all the people I got to meet there. Brian, Owen, Roberto. You guys are all there. You're all going to be there. So,
are you going to go to Vid Summit this year?
I want to, but I don't know yet. I'm
okay.
Still trying to see if I can physically go. So, because I'm just getting better from some stuff I had done.
Midnight Matt. Well, I want to say first of all, Gord, I hope you do come because I'd love to hang out face to face.
Yeah,
Nick
it'd be great to see you.
A lot of fun hanging out together when you were there.
It would be cool. I loved Vid Summit, and it was such an eye opener for me, and just to appreciate people at another level and getting to see them face to face just changed the whole feeling of what I call the isolated aspect of being a creator. I find it very isolating, and then to be able to gather and meet fellow creators and talk about, their cool things and their strategies and what they're doing, what's coming, and their way of doing things. Like you said, it just it's priceless in an interesting way. But so it sounds like you have quite an exciting fall or end of summer and fall coming up. A lot of travel.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting next of the year. And I just want to go into the chat for a second. Midnight Madness 4x4 says it only took him 2 or 3 weeks to get monetized. That's incredible. I'm thinking, and Nick thought this too. So I'm in Thailand.
Yeah.
So there might be some sort of a delay in terms of why I had to wait so long. Because some of the other guys that I know that applied around the same time as me, they got approved within a few weeks as well. But not me. So maybe the fact that I'm here maybe had something to do with it. Maybe they had to deal with a local office for that or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I was in the race to the wire for the monetization thing, and I surpassed it with like a week to go. So I came in under the wire, and it was very quick back then. But I think the backlog was starting to compound then. So I got lucky, I guess, in the draw. But
Dan says a really interesting thing too. Sorry to interrupt you, Gord. I want to mention something Dan says. He says, I think the appeal for Dee from advanced creators is watching your growth and choices and learn from that. That's fascinating, Dan. Thank you for that feedback. That's something I haven't thought about in terms of how to appeal to advanced creators.
Yeah, well, I look at it that way. That's why I say to you, I was really astounded by the volume of views and the success you're having. So, like everything from what you're doing with your thumbnails to your SEO to the quality of your productions, like all of it, that's really on the level that Dan's saying. Like, hey, we can look at Dee as a fine example of someone who's like really doing it right, and so we're grateful to see that and enjoy that while you're experiencing your journey so early with that amount of success, which is exciting.
Thank you. But here's the main thing that I would say about that in terms of just growth in general is testing. I'm constantly trying to improve. If you go into my thumbnails right now, based on what's being served, you're going to see different colors. You're going to see different font colors. You're going to see some where my shirt are a certain color and the background's a certain color, where I'm testing colors against each other, font colors against each other, different pictures against each other. I'm constantly in my audience retention, doing everything I can, trying to gain an extra minute of watch time if I can.
Oh, that's great.
And Gord, believe it or not, I'm finding that videos that don't play music. Now, this is just for me, but for somebody else, this might be different. But for me personally, when I don't play music and when I speak faster, when I present everything quicker,
Yeah.
those have the better watch time than if
Yeah.
I slow it down a little bit and I try to put some music in there because that's what I want to listen to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those don't do as well.
You know what's
So when
this
I
is
speed
very
everything up,
interesting because
people hold on to that.
yeah, I posted something in Tube Ritual last week, and I was asking people about what speed factor do they watch their videos at. And I know a lot of people I talk to, barely anyone watches the videos at normal speed, believe it or not. And I sat there and I go,
So that means I'm even faster.
yeah, I'm going like, yeah, but so imagine, well, because I remember Daryl Eve saying that if you watch somebody's video at 2 times speed, they only get half the watch time. They don't get credit for, it's literally the amount of time that's elapsed on the clock, which equates to what watch time that you get credit for. So people that watch it in 2 times speed, you get half the watch time, right? So even though they watch the whole thing, but the reason why I ask is because there is so much skill also involved in being able to control your voice, pause, know when to increase the cadence for variety and do different kinds of things and all of this stuff. But as soon as you start to get into playing like fast speed, it's like it kind of all goes out the window. And I think we're getting conditioned and programmed to consume material at another level that's like surreal. It's just not normal real-time exchange in humanity.
Gord,
and I find that so bizarre.
I believe that social media is the best thing and the worst thing that has happened to us. I mean, like you said, we are being conditioned to consume more and more bite-sized type content. Like we used to be able to just watch videos and watch movies and like not really, you could focus on them. But now, if you don't get my attention in 5 seconds, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy that our span has become has shrunk to the point that you literally have seconds to get someone's attention with a video. That's incredible. And if your video is too long, like, maybe I might have a video that's 7 minutes too long, and that's how long it took. I didn't stretch it out. That's how long it took me to get information out. And I'll have plenty of comments. This video is too long, too long.
Wow.
Man, what do you want from me?
It's funny. I have a lot of long videos, and I have very little comments, if at all, that ever said my tutorial was too long. It's kind of interesting. So people just haven't engaged to want to tell me that. It's only been the rare few. But, so it's interesting. I think you really need to understand your audience, and that you can only do by testing, like you're saying. And the demographic will be a telltale for sure. Yeah, that's very true.
So Pam asked a question. She says, "Do you think live streams are conditioning people to watch people for longer now?" Pam, that's a fantastic question. And here's what I think live streams are doing. Live streams, I don't think it's conditioning them. Can't speak today. Conditioning them to watch longer, but I think live streaming is giving them a connection to the person that they're not getting through online video. So
exactly.
If you look at so when you're watching a live stream, you have immediate interaction with that person, and you can't get that anywhere else. You can watch a video; it's not the same as when somebody goes live versus because I have some people, like, when their video goes up, okay, I'll watch that when I get around to it. I'll add it to watch later. When they go live, man, I'm in there. I'm right in there as fast as I can go because I want to interact with this person, because for whatever reason, I feel some sort of a connection with them, or I think they're funny or witty, intelligent, or an awesome creator, whatever it is. I have that immediate connection. And I think that's the thing with live, you just can't beat that. You can't beat that live, immediate, real-time interaction with people.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason that's inspired me to do this more, because I'm a very curious cat, and I love conversation and learning about other creators and discovering ways that I can serve better, and how other fellow creators like you can learn to serve people, and I enjoy it a lot. But getting there and just doing it specifically about technical things, about tutorials, that's one aspect. But I think getting to know the person and connecting, like you say, makes a big difference, because people say, oh, you know what, I kind of like Dee, and he's kind of a cool cat, and I love to hear his perspective. And I think that is so important.
That's where I'm thinking. Well, I mentioned before early on that I'm a bit intimidated to kick off my own live event, my own live show, because of what we do on Nimin Live and what my brother already does. I'm naturally going to be looked at as, I better bring something to the table there. So I'm juggling. Do I want to make something where it's, jam packed with mobile stuff or whatever, or do I want to make it just more like a loungy, let's kind of hang out and get to know each other better? I'm on the fence with that, and I'll probably try both and see which one works better. But I really don't know which one will.
Yeah,
and again, it's
I don't envy your situation, because like you do so many hours already live in Nimin Live, right? And it's like
I love going live.
Yeah, so I mean, it's awesome. We already really know you at a level from that experience as a person. So I think that's kind of cool, But
the question is, though, will my core audience relate like that? Do they? Yeah. You're right. Is my core audience, are they going to come watch me live because they want me to do a Snapseed tutorial live? Yeah. Or do they want to come out and hang out? Do they want to talk about movies or whatever? I don't know yet. We're going to find out, Gord.
Well, this is cool, because I need to experiment with the same kind of things, Dee. I need to experiment doing more tutorials live. I've done a few as guests on other people's channels, and I loved it. I really loved it, and the feedback was great. So, but I don't do that enough, and I never think about its value the same way as I think about doing the whole package pre-recorded things. But I think I should, like you're saying, we got to experiment and see how people respond.
I'm curious, those of you who are in the chat, if you're familiar with me, if you're familiar with my content, I'm really curious, what would you like to see me do in a live stream? Just let me know. For those of you who are watching, would you want to hang out, or you want to do like tutorials? Or I'm curious, what can I do for you in a live stream? Yeah, let me know. I'm real curious. And same with Gord. I'm curious. I'm curious how they want
to learn what. Yeah, that's why I'd like to watch things like Nimin Live, so that I can see how you guys engage with people too. Right.
What I don't want to do, Gord, is I don't want to try to do a Nimin Live version 2. Like, we're already doing Nimin Live. I don't want to do something where people are just saying, oh, you're just trying to redo what you're already doing on Saturday night. So I want to do something a little bit different to where it's my own thing.
Okay, so let's throw a twist in this, Dee.
In the same space, it's kind of hard to do your own thing, and that's another reason I went mobile. Right?
What's
about, in my bag?
No, what's in your bag? I wonder if that person is referring to Michael, whose YouTube channel's name is "What's in Michael's Bag," which is someone who was there. I don't know if Michael's still there now, but let's just see. Is he? Yeah, he's still there. What's in Michael's bag is still there. That's what that was just my guess. Sorry, but Dee, what about?
1 second, Gord.
Sure.
I'm going to answer Pam's question here. She says, "What about mobile news?" Pam, that's actually one of the things that I was thinking about, is starting it off by the week in mobile news. So maybe the first 10 minutes or whatever, 5 minutes, it's just talking about what happened in mobile news this week, be it from mobile releases to new apps, maybe an app of the week, what's happening on the YouTube front. Have they released anything new? So a few minutes of mobile news, and then go into like a hangout. That's something I'm actually thinking about. So yeah, great minds.
Yeah, I was going to go to the concept there about podcast, because it made me think of the Business of Video podcast that Nick and Owen are doing, where they mix a bit of news, they have a little banter, a little fun, and then they have a featured guest, and there's a whole run of show, as Owen calls it.
I'm wanting to get into podcasting as well, and we have Nick and I have a friend who lives here who helps us with a lot of stuff, and he helps me a lot in the studio too. And he was going to do the podcast with me, and we started putting a plan together on how we could do the podcasting. And then he just told me a few days ago that he's actually going to be moving out of Thailand. So now I'm having to rethink how I can do the podcast, because we also have great chemistry together. So it would have been a really entertaining podcast. And I'm kind of rethinking. If I'm lucky, I'll get Nick to do it with me.
Yeah, well, awesome. It sounds great. You have so many options and interesting things, ahead, and it must be like so exciting, such an exciting time, and I'm just so grateful that you came and shared your time with us here today, Dee, and I
Oh,
got
it's
to
my
know you
pleasure.
on
But
another
Gord,
level and enjoyed it.
I interrupted you before I jumped into Pam's question. You were getting ready to ask me something, and I rudely interrupted you, and I apologize for that.
No, I
Do you
did.
remember
My
what it
question
was?
I wanted to ask was about podcasting, and
Oh,
then Pam's thing
oh,
was
okay.
sort of like that because the news angle, and then I asked the question about you, about comparing to Nick and Owen and doing the podcast concept with the news in there in the beginning, right? So that's why I
Yeah,
thought of
I'll tell you,
that.
Owen's another strong live performer. You know,
Yeah.
those two together, Owen Video and my brother Nick, they are an amazing. Owen's kind of like a brother from another mother. Like when we're like hanging out, we got to know him when we were obviously those Nick and Owen knew each other, but I got to hang out with him for the first time, and man, that guy's just an amazing guy, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm spellbounded by Owen's energy all the time.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
There's a
Those
lot
two
to learn
together, they're
from Owen for
yeah,
sure.
he's great. So
Okay.
so Gord, I got
Yeah.
to ask, what's next for your channel? You've asked me a ton of questions. My turn. What's up for your? What's next for you? What's up for the
Well,
Gord
I,
the Gord
I
Master?
am wanting to produce some shorter content than the longer tutorials, and I found that some of my recent videos on social video a lot of people are liking, even though for me with the volume of views they haven't been out long, but they're producing decent views for me for my channel. And so I'm doing more of these example things and walking people through how to execute on some cool practical solutions, like I did several Instagram themes for doing like videos in Instagram. Like I did 3 or 4 things in one video. So I made this like super long video, but people loved the variety of ideas that were there. But after I produced that thing, I go, wow, I love that. And people responded well, but it's like, I had to create all of those things before, and the production work was a ton. But
Right.
it's helping me to see the kind of content. So I'd love to be able to do maybe more like one-off creatives and sort of walk them through how to do it, and their practical examples, because I think that's what people enjoy in some of my content. That's one thing. I want to do more lives like you're seeing right here. You're my first in a long time, and I'm grateful
This is
that we
great.
got to do this. And I just love the interview. And there's all kinds of theories on what live streaming will or won't do for a channel like mine, but I'm keen on it because I feel I am able to bring some good value to people, to get them to learn more about the creator that I have as a guest, and what they're doing and the ideas that they have on how to help people. So I'm really enjoying that, and so I'm trying to figure out how to balance to get back to two publishings a week. But between client work I'm ramping up on, it's not been easy just yet. So, but I'm excited. There's still a lot of options, and serving the diversity of my niche is something I need to figure out a little better. And you alluded to some of that, and you have lots of ideas, and I guess you'll see how that unfolds as you make the effort, right?
Right. Yeah. So serving the audience. I mean, that's what it all comes back to: serving the audience, providing value.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of serving the audience, Mike asked a question. He says, "D, did you get to try square videos in 4K and then get what format you want out of it?" Mike, I don't fully understand what you're asking.
I think I get it. You're recording in
go ahead.
4K, but you could do a diversity of things with the resolution potentially. Like maybe it's about the benefits of 4K and square video. Is that what he's asking?
Well, I shoot in 4K now. I didn't start with that, but I shoot in 4K now. And the reason I do that is because it allows me to really zoom in. If I
Right.
want to zoom in and punch it myself, in and out, you can do that in 4K and you don't lose any quality. So
Yeah.
I
So
kind of
are you
regret
doing that with a DSLR or the mobile or a mix?
I am. So here's my workflow. Anything that I'm shooting in the studio that's talking head that looks like
Right.
this, it's usually now shot on a Sony 6500.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the reason I do that is because it's part of my workflow. I've been working with cameras for almost 20 years, and I'm faster. I'm faster with the DSLR, and I'm faster to edit on my PC. I use Sony Vegas Pro for that, 15. And I actually get some blowback in my comments from time to time. Somebody might say, well, what do you film on or what do you edit on? If you're teaching us mobile, shouldn't you do it on mobile? Here's the thing. The name of the game, as far as I'm concerned, is execution. So whatever you have to do to get your content out there faster, do that. I can do it all on my phone. I can shoot on my phone. I can edit on my phone. I can process my audio on my phone. I can do everything on my phone. I've learned it so I can teach people how to do it.
Right.
But the time it takes to do it on my phone, it's slow and it's a process, including the thumbnails. Yeah. So I'm much faster at Photoshop. I'm much faster in Vegas. And rendering power, I have a beast of a video editing machine over here that renders a video out. It will render 4K out in real time versus my phone, which takes forever to render out a video. So my workflow, I'm focusing on just execution and getting the product out there, the video out there. I want to get my content out there. That's the bottom line. So if you've got a PC and it renders faster than your phone does, then by all means, edit on your computer.
Yeah, and also the files from the phone that are done in 4K are pretty sizable.
They are. But then now the camera that I do with, I'll shoot it in 4K. I haven't uploaded it in 4K. I downsize it. I haven't decided yet if I'm actually going to start publishing in 4K or not. The two phones that I do record with, if I'm doing B-roll or if I'm doing something outside, I will record with my phone. And for that, it's either the iPhone i7 or the Samsung S9.
Cool.
But even then, I'll bring the footage in and I'll edit on my PC just for the rendering time.
Yeah,
the rendering time and the precise cuts. I can cut it exactly where I want it to be quickly on my PC. I've got huge hands, and it's hard for me to thumb around and use my fingers to get the phone editors to get exactly what I wanted to do.
Have you considered using something like Stream Deck and doing stuff to help speed your editing using Stream Deck, like macro stuff for editing? We rely heavily on the Stream Deck to live stream, and I have a brand new Stream Deck in the box over here, but according to the box, it only works on Windows 10. Yes. And my video machine is on Windows 7, and I am not going to upgrade to Windows 10 on my video machine. Everything works most of the time, and it's efficient. It does everything that it needs to do, and if it's not broken, I'm not going to fix it. I'm not going to upgrade that computer unless I absolutely have to. So the live stream box is a Windows 10 machine.
Yeah, but the computer that's sitting right here is a Windows 10 machine, and I do not like Windows 10. So my workhorse, that's Windows 7, and I'm keeping it there until I'm forced out of it.
Okay. So Mike did answer your question there. He says he uses it to get 1080 landscape and or 1080 vertical or 1080 square. So I guess he's trying to appreciate what do you do with your square video? Do you ever
square video? You mean my vertical video or actual like
Instagram? The question above. Did you get to try square videos in 4K and then
did I get to try? No.
Yeah.
No, I have not tried that.
Okay.
I have not tried anything that I'll film unless it was filmed specifically for IGTV. I'm always filming in landscape, just Yeah. And I'll crop it out from there.
Yeah, you get the full latitude and resolution, so you can pretty well do what you want with it, right? And like you said, it adds greatly for zooming effects and panning, and it's really cool. That's great. Yeah. And then Mike says his camera's out for repair.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like if you know how to do this stuff on your phone and your camera's out for repair, you don't skip a beat.
Yeah, exactly. I've done a few videos that where I've done demos, like physical demos of my phone and accessories and stuff like that. So that's all. I used another phone to record it because my DSLR is set up in my studio fixed. So I'm not like I'm not into having like moving stuff all around. That's just crazy, and that's why you guys in your studio are setting up stuff to suit different purposes, right?
Yes. So yeah, I'm really bad about that, Gord. Like, I'm so bad that I don't want to take a camera off of a tripod. So like, I would rather buy multiple tripods and have all the same heads on it, so that if everywhere that I'm at in the room, the tripod is set specifically for that shot. And then all I have to do, because they've all got the same heads, camera off, camera on. I don't have to reset it. I don't have to reframe. I'm super lazy.
Yeah. So for you, from the time you guys sit down to get Nimin Live going, how long does it take you?
Oh, Gord, I'm embarrassed to tell you that sometimes we have walked in here due to whatever reason and literally had like 5 minutes on the clock to fire up the computer, turn on the lights, get the air conditioning on, run a test, get everything on, and get going. We like to give ourselves an hour, but
Yeah.
sometimes life gets in the way. Stuff happens. We lose track of time.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's those
life
moments
happens.
where you really appreciate that you have a ready-made setup to go.
Yes, we kind of have like an online joke. You know, he'll tell me, you know, hey, we're live in 4 minutes, and we're not even, you know, we're not even on yet, or we're not even like set up yet. And I'm like, hey, in 4 minutes, I could rebuild the entire studio. You know, we have like this running joke, like, okay, all I need is 4 minutes. You know, whatever the time is, that's all the time I need.
Maybe that's an
And
interesting thing.
Yeah, the funny thing is, unless
Yeah.
there's a technical problem, we can actually get all of this fired up and online and streaming in literally just a couple of minutes.
Yeah. And I love that too. When I'm in the mindset and I practice for something and I'm ready to go hit that record button in front of my camera, I want to just go and do the job. I don't want to sit there and spend a period of time to deal with setup. So I have a checklist that I use, and but pretty much everything's set up. It's just a matter of turn all of these things on, be sure this other thing, these few things are off, air conditioning's off, you know, standard you know, lights are off so the colors doesn't get messed with, and everything's balanced, doors closed, sort of soundproof the way I want it to be. Boom, record.
Yeah, and that's what we're actually doing right here. So I said we've got some other sets being built, even the overhead shot. They're all getting built with the tripod heads. Everything's getting built, so all we have to do at most is just in a couple spots just swap out a camera. But we have enough cameras to where most of them are. I think the only one we're going to have to swap out is the overhead shot. All the rest, we should have enough gear for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really bad about speaking of cameras, I have a question for you, but let's just first look at Jacoby Herity's asked, can Dee make a big video on mobile streaming?
Okay, I did make a video, Jacoby, on how to stream using your phone. It's a very basic, just how to get it activated, how to do that. You want to check that out on my channel. I do have another video coming out about how to stream using Streamlabs on your phone. And if you see Doug Houston YT in here, Doug has a fantastic video on how to get up and running on Streamlabs if you're not already subscribed.
Oh, I got to check that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm actually working on, and I haven't figured it out for Android yet, I've got it worked out for iPhone, is okay, so Gord, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I want to show people that you don't have to be limited by your gear. And one of the things that I'm putting together is I'm trying to put a system together through an app is to where you can use multiple phones and you can actually use it. You can use them as switchers. So you can have just your phones or an iPad, and you can have multiple camera angles and run an actual show with your phone or a couple of phones.
Okay, because I want to do this exact thing, Dee, exactly what you're saying. So, for example, I'm here and I'm webcammed with you, but I want to have a second angle, and I thought I'm either going to have to utilize another webcam or my mobile mounted on a tripod and utilize that. And it's so that I can do an experience in the middle of the screencast, and to give diversity to the experience, I take like a side turn, and then I talk about something you know that's useful.
Sure. Well, we have 3 cameras that we use on Nimin Live. They're all, you know, actual cameras, but what I'm wanting to show them what you're talking about, I want to show people how to do that only on their phone. Only on their phone.
Yeah.
So if you don't have webcam, you don't have anything else, you can be at the cafe. If you've got your phone and maybe your girlfriend's phone or your mother's phone or whatever, if they've all got the same app, I'm trying to put a video together, and it's, you know how that is. You kind of have to craft it and figure out how to explain it.
And often
where you can do
go ahead
with just a couple of phones and switch cameras and do all of that.
And you're often going to have multi-generation phones. So like I have an S5 and an S7, and I'll soon have an S9 because I'm just eligible for it in my contractual renewal the way the programs are here. So I could actually do a setup like that. I'll be very excited to see that video when you do that. That's going to be a fun one to produce, Dee, because you're going to need to walk around the whole set and do all kinds of stuff on that.
So Gord, what you can do, because you're using OBS, correct?
Yes.
There's an NDI plugin for OBS, and there's an app. I don't know if it's on Android or not. I know it's on for iPhone. There's an NDI plugin for OBS that you can put in, and there's an app that you can download. It's like 15 or 20 bucks for the app, but it will turn your phone into a camera source.
Oh, nice.
So you can set up exactly what you want, and you can do it that way. Or you can just tether it in. Do you know how you can use your phone and like stream it through your TV to play a movie on your TV?
Oh, that's sort of like a wireless feed, like a Bluetooth feed.
Right. You can do that as well and bring that into OBS. So there's, if you want to use your phone as an additional camera source, you can absolutely do that. It's easier than you think.
That's a great series playlist for the OBS and mobile.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Gord. There's so much to talk about. So much I want to teach
So you
people.
probably literally look at, you probably have to evaluate a lot of things by, this is a tight week. It's going to be a shorter video versus, you know what? I have a little time this week. Let's do a deeper dive one.
So, yeah, I mean, look, so I have a girlfriend, I have a life, and life gets in the way of sometimes giving myself the time that I need to make a video, the time that I need to research something. Sometimes I've got to do something and I can't, spend the hours to learn this new way to do something. I got to do something with my girlfriend, emergencies happen. So I'll come into the studio and I'm like, okay, well, what can I do quickly? And I got to go through my list to look, what can I put together the quickest?
Exactly.
Yeah, that happens more than it should actually. But life happens,
But you're so right, and you get better at knowing more quickly what things are viable to do after a few experiences. Yeah. I think that's great.
Yeah, John Lennon, my favorite lines from John Lennon is, "Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans." No matter how much you plan, life gets in the way. Absolutely.
So, Dee, this has been such a thrill for me. I really enjoyed talking about all kinds of subjects here, and we had quite a busy chat, and I appreciate that everybody that came and enjoyed, and thank you for your questions and
PM Nexus. Hey, good. Thanks for showing up, buddy.
Yeah, and thank you, Doug and Pam, for moderating. That was greatly appreciated as well. And
thanks again.
I think we've had a reasonably clean situation, which is good news anyways.
Clean. Always clean, Gord.
Yeah.
Always clean.
So, Dee, do you have your own website yet, or is predominantly everything connecting through your website and social? Through YouTube and your social.
Right now, if you go to deenimmin.com, it's just going to forward over to YouTube. As I start building out these other assets, like the courses and an email list and some free things I'm going to put together on a site and a podcast, then I'll have a website up where you'll be able to. It'll be pretty much an aggregate of everything that I'm doing. So deenimmin.com. Cool. Yeah, just keep track of that, and you'll be able to figure out where I'm at and what I'm doing.
That's awesome. So
there's not enough hours in the day to get everything done that you want to do.
Yeah, I feel like it's an endless game out there, and sometimes I wish it was more tight and structured and controlled, but it's just not, because a lot of things you just don't know what's in store for you to explore, things to discover and to create, and but it's very rewarding, like you said. I loved your description of your experience of you doing your kind of like little happy dance after you publish and the velocity.
That's not a happy dance.
Or what
is a strut? Gord, you're probably old enough to remember strutting. You remember when people used to strut?
Okay.
back in the Bee Gees era.
Yeah. Okay.
Saturday Night Fever. Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. You need to have an end session sequence of that, Dee, that goes on your video.
Right. Yeah,
that would be fun.
When I upload a video, exactly.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Dee, and look forward to seeing what comes from you. And it's been a joy to have you here today. And thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And
this has been fantastic. Thank you for having me on, Gord. I appreciate it. Anytime you want, I am here for you. Yeah, everybody who came, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Moderators, thank you, Pam, Doug, especially you. I know it's probably 4 or 5 a.m. now. You are an absolute rock star, my friend. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Doug can wake up now.
Yeah.
I mean, get into his day.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. And this was a lot of fun.
Yep. Okay. And we're signing off now. And thank you again, everybody. It was a pleasure. Okay.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Oh, the Endeavoring family. Yeah, they're in Korea, 4 a.m. 안녕하세요.